You can burn your food. It's too much. It's burnt. These French fries are burnt. Right? You can say overcooked, overdone, but then they get burnt, right? And even worse, they can get greasy or oily, right? Oh, this fried chicken's too greasy or oily, right? You see fried food, it's got to be a balance for frying food, right? Right? Good fried food should be, crispy and crunchy, right? Crispy chicken, right? Crunchy tempura, right? Right? You don't want them to be greasy or burnt, right? Those are the common problems you get from frying. Okay? Then when you think about, let's say, baking things, right? When you're baking in the oven, baking is like we put something in the oven like cookies, or you bake, let's say, pies, or like anytime you put something in the oven and there's a chemical reaction that changes things, like bread, right? You bake bread, right? And again, with baking, there could be serious problems when you're baking, right? So basically, biggest problems would be maybe breads or muffins and cookings. They can come out hard, right? Or cracked, or over-baked, right? So, it's like common things, this bread's been over-baked. It's hard as a rock, and it has cracks, although it's all cracked and overdone. It's too hard. It's been over-baked, right? Good pastries, like cakes and pies, right? They should be maybe soft or even fluffy, right? Yeah, dogs can be fluffy, right? Cats can be fluffy, but so can be bread and pies. Right? A nice fluffy cheesecake, right? Nice soft cheesecake with a fluffy something on top, right? Muffins, right? Okay. So baking has its own problems. Another common one would be roasting, right? Roasting is where you put the meat over fire. So there's actual fire, right? It's grilling or roasting, right? Like roasted chicken. And again, roasting can come with some problems, right? Yeah. So, it can be too dry or even burnt to a crisp, we say. Burnt. It can be burnt, but if it can burnt to a crisp, right? Totally gone, like black ash, right? Just, But most importantly, it's too dry, And this is a problem for Canadians love to eat turkey for Thanksgiving, right? Canadians love turkey. Why are we? I don't know. That's it. It's Thanksgiving. What are we gonna do? Eat turkey, right? That's it. That's the tradition, right? And again, turkey is actually really hard to roast. A roast turkey is really hard to make, right? Because if you keep it in there for too long, right, it's gonna get dry. The meat's gonna get dry. Won't be delicious, right, anymore, right? So proper roasted meat should be moist and juicy, right? We want that meat to be moist, mouth-wateringly moist and juicy, right? So when we're thinking about these, again, we can give this letter some specific vocabulary about what happened. Being specific is so important, right? We don't want to be very general. Right? Broiling is a little less common. Broiling means you kind of grill it, but with some sauces as well, right? And again, some of the same issues as roasting could possibly happen. Barbecuing and roasting almost the same, right? Barbecuing, sometimes it's the same as basically roasting and barbecuing, right? It's just we call it different ways, right? Barbecued chicken, right? It's in a fire. Boiling, it's pretty boring, not much we can do, right? There's not much you can go wrong with boiling, really. I mean, boiled egg, overdone, right? So not very important. But really, food is all about the taste, right? Food is all about the taste, right? And the worst thing you can say in IELTS Writing Task 1 General is say, I didn't like my food because it was not delicious. Right? It was not delicious. I mean, how general is that? Right? It's not very general. Right? We want to be very specific, right? And again, we can think about the basic foods, taste, sweet, right? Like sugar. We can say bitter or stringent, right? When things are bitter, right? What kind of foods are bitter? What are some bitter foods? Give me an example of some bitter foods. Some herbs, yeah, absolutely. Some herbs can be very bitter, right? Anything else?
Bitter melon.
Bitter melon, yeah, absolutely, right? I think one of the most bitter foods, I know some people like grapefruit. It's too much for me. Grapefruit can be very bitter. Just, I don't know, right?
Dark coffee is bitter.
Yeah, sorry?
Dark coffee.
Dark coffee?
Coffee.
Oh, coffee, dark coffee, absolutely, yeah. Dark coffee is very bitter, could be too bitter, right? Sour, of course, like lemons, right? Sour. Okay, we can say spicy, salty, and we heard it's too salty. This food is just too salty, right? Savory. What does savory mean? That's a little bit less common. Savory. Okay, is ice cream savory?
It's delicious.
Well, ice cream is sweet, it's creamy, it's soft, it's luxurious, right? Again, delicious, we want to avoid the word delicious. Everything can be delicious. Ice cream can be delicious, and steak can be delicious. But do these two things taste the same way? Right? And how uncommon is delicious, right? Savory is the taste of meaty foods, right? French fries are savory, meat is savory, steak is savory. Potatoes are savory. Anything that has an oily or even meat-like flavor can be savory, right? And this is more, it's mostly positive, right? But that's the flavor of you know. And I mean, we don't want to just stop there. There are a lot of flavors in the English language. The English language has more vocabulary than any other language in the world, right? 1.5 million, right? And growing, right? And there's no exception because we add different flavors, right? This is the aroma wheel. You can find this aroma wheel, but you know, this fragrant, citrus, we can say woody, earthy, spicy, floral, right? Moldy, smoky barbecue, right? Minty, herbal, grassy, right? There are so many different kinds of flavors, right? But the key I'm trying to say here is be specific. Don't just rely on delicious, right? Extend. Give reasons, right? And because flavor is so hard to express, nothing harder is to express than just flavor, right? Because it's so subjective. People like different things, right? It's important for you to maybe find another reason that's problematic with the food taste, right? Like having too many ingredients or the preparation wasn't done right, right? Okay, let's talk a little bit more food. Let's just see what we know about it. What is? Oh, okay, this is one of my favorite foods, guys. What is this?
Sashimi, raw salmon.
It's sashimi, right? Salmon sashimi. I love salmon. I like sashimi in general. What does salmon sashimi taste like? Soft, good texture. It's soft.
Sweet.
Sweet.
A little.
A little sweet. It should have an almost neutral flavor. The importance would be the freshness, right? It should be odorless, right? It shouldn't have any smell, right? Things like the wasabi, maybe it was too salty, or wasabi is too spicy, right? Right? But yeah, it's very soft, the texture, right? Right? So what would be bad about sashimi? We know what good sashimi tastes like. Right? Almost impossible to describe. We can't really describe it. It's just so unique. But we know what's bad about it. What's wrong when sashimi is bad?
Not fresh.
Yes, so how does it taste?
Stale.
It's stale. Very good. Could be stale or has a fishy smell. It's too fishy. Right? If you get salmon from the supermarket, it will smell fishy. It will taste fishy. Right? But this will not. This is sushi grade. Right? Okay, a steak. Steak frites. Classic French food, right? What does steak taste like?
Savory.
Savory. There you go. Someone's there. Absolutely. Absolutely, it's savory. Right? Anything else? What do you want from a good steak? Should be savory. It should be
Juicy.
juicy. Someone remembered. Absolutely juicy. It was not juicy enough. It was dry. Right? It should be juicy. Could be dry. Could be two birds. Right? And again, I asked for rare and I got well done. You guys know, right, about the scales? Well done.
It's an overcoat.
Rare.
Yeah.
Well done.
Medium.
Okay. Medium. Okay, well done. Medium. Medium rare. Rare. Right, rare. You can even ask for blue.
Blue.
Or still mooing. I like this one. Give me my steak still mooing. Right? No moo, like moo. Give me moo, moo, moo. There you go. That's the perfect, right? Bloody. Sometimes you order your steak tartare or your hamburger bloody, if it's from a good restaurant, of course. Yeah, so we know, right? It could be overdone, too spicy, it wasn't seasoned right, it was bland. Also, it has to be soft. It should melt in your mouth. It shouldn't be hard to chew, right? Chewy, like another one, chewy. Right? The steak is chewy. Yeah. Okay. One of my favorite foods, I don't know, have you guys ever heard of kimchi jjigae or kimchi jjigae? It's a spicy Korean kimchi soup, one of my favorite things in the world.